welcome back everybody to 12-Foot Chain. This week we're going to dive into a very, I would say, pretty complicated guitar arrangement from the Led Zeppelin song, The Rain Song. The Rain Song was put out on their Houses of the Holy album. It was the second track on that after Song Remains the Same, I believe. And it offers a really rich, intricate guitar arrangement from Jimmy Page. And it has a lot of creative elements in there that if you try to play in standard tuning, it is just not going to sound right or like the record if you're trying to sound like the record. And that's what we're going to tackle here. If you haven't done so already, please do hit subscribe and like. It helps out not only our channel, but if this is content that you like, it helps YouTube serve up more of that content that you like and actually disregard the stuff that you don't like. So it's a win-win. But we put out new content every single week. Please let us know in the comments what you'd like me to try and tackle and go over, and maybe we'll do your song next week. Okay, so there's a lot to go over in this song. We're going to cover tuning. We're going to cover all of the sections of the song. Within the verses, I don't know what would be considered a chorus. I think there's a bridge section in there. What you'll see over my shoulder periodically here are the chord shapes that you'll need to learn and play as we're going along. I'm also going to provide the link to those in the description down below, so you can print those out and sort of follow along in that way too as you're learning the song and practicing it too. The chord shapes are not difficult, they're just different. So what you'll have to do is sort of unlearn what you already intuitively know about guitar and the basic standard tuning chords. But once you do and you start to practice these, it's really rewarding because all these notes fall right into place, and you'll see that's exactly how they played it when he recorded it in the studio. Okay, so first of all, the tuning. So the tuning is D, G, C, G, C, D. So D, G, C, G, C, D. And so first tune your guitar to that. Then the rest of the chord shapes that we'll talk about, everything falls right into place based on that. Okay? All right. So the song opens with a kind of a G chord. And as we're going through these shapes, I'm not going to even attempt to say what chord that actually is. But the song is relatively in G. So the first chord starts, and it's this shape, shape number 1, that you can see above here. And you drag your pick from the first string up. So it's an upstroke. Isn't that nice? Right. And then the second one is just one, you slide that same shape, 1 fret down. So I believe that moves from a G to a G major 7 kind of thing. But that's the first two. And then it moves to this next shape where it is sort of like a normal triad from a normal bar chord with a 6 on there. But I don't know what this is anymore with the tuning. But it's this shape from the 3rd to the 5th fret. And notice I'm disregarding the 6th, the low string, for pretty much the entire song, except for the very last chord of the song. I think the whole rest of the song, you're laying off that, and you're starting everything from either the 5th string forward or one of the other strings forward, but you're disregarding that. So it's this shape. Then you pick up your pinky, and then you catch the open first string, right? Do, 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 do. So you're trying to get that note sequence from the chord. And then you end on this little mini bar shape on 3. Okay? And then you end that with, you slide it down, same bar shape on the 2nd fret, and you're going to start on that, and you're going to hammer on, lightly hammer on, I'm using my pinky, onto the G string at the 4th fret. So that looks like this. So all the way through. And you don't have to be super precise when you're picking the chords, because every once in a while, as you hear on the record and when he does it live, he's catching some of those other strings every once in a while. You know, it's just the nature of a very loose, of playing it just naturally. But they're all pleasant when they all ring out together. Okay, so the next part we're going to slide up, and it's this same formation, chord shape as we did in the very beginning, but we're just sliding up the fret. Okay, we're coming up to 11, and I'm doing upstrokes here. We're going to go 11, then to 9, up to 12, back to 11, down to 4, and then you end on, you're adding a note that you see here on the 8th and 9th fret. You strike that twice. Isn't that nice? Make sure you get that in there. A lot of people leave that note out and they go. It's not quite. You got to get that one. All right. So now we're going to start with a familiar shape. Look, again, we're back to that sort of triad, major chord triad piece, but who knows what the chord this is. But we're going to position that from 10 to 12. And we're going to slide that down 1 fret. Now on the record, you can also hear sort of a slide going. Or I can't approximate it right, but he's got that slide to exaggerate that. But it sounds great, just normal. Right? Then we're going to flatten the note on the 4th string down 1. So moving to this position. So we were here, and we're just flattening the 4th string. Okay. So then we're sliding down to the 5th fret, and here's the shape. And we're going to move around. We're going to stay here on the 5th fret, and we're going to move around on the 4th and the 5th strings. So we're doing. Right, and we're dragging the rest of the chord with it. You could also play that D string open instead of picking it on the 5th string. You can. Same thing. Right? And then we're back up here. Down to 5. So it runs through that a couple times. The last one, it does a little, it adds one last note there before it moves to the next section. So that's just the 4th string on 7th fret. Now we're going to come back to this. We're going to come down to the 2nd fret for this pretty sort of chromatic climb, and then a sort of, I don't know how to describe it, but there's a descending, right, that part. So here we go. So we're going to position ourselves on 2, just like we did in the beginning when we ended that first verse section. Now we're going to do, this is a figure that's between frets 2 and 4 on the G string and the 4th string, or the 3rd string and the 4th string. Right? So it's, we're just going to repeat that after each part of this chromatic climb. So what's the chromatic climb? It's your chromatic climb on the 4th string from 2 up to 5. Making a 7th of whatever chord that is at this point. Where we're at right now. So we finish that phrase. Just drag your pick across down to the 1st string. We're just picking back 1, 2, 3. 3. Open 3rd string. And we're going to land on the 4th fret on the 4th string. So that last part is. Whoop. You have to unlearn. Right. Now we're going to move into the next shape. And the next shape is like this that you see. Or like this, I think. So it's the chord is. Across on 4, and you're overlaying 5th fret on the 5th string, 5th fret on the 1st string, and it allows you to do a little pull off and hammer on the 1st string. Next shape. Down 2 frets. It's basically the same chord shape. We're sliding down 2 frets, so it's just an open. We're playing the 2nd fret on the 5th string and playing the rest open. Little hammer on and off on the 2nd fret on the 1st string. And then rinse and repeat. So on the 2nd time around, when you're going through the verse, after the strings come in on the record, when you do after you do the chromatic part, so he goes another measure or 2 around instead of going down to that. He did that the first time. The next time he's doing it, you get to that part. Back up. And that's the same chord shape when you were going down, but you go up 2 frets. So you're on 5. back down, and you resolve. Okay, so the next section after all of those is there's a bridge where drums come in a lot harder, and it's the "I Feel the Coldness of the Winter" lyrical part. So we're gonna lead into that similarly that we did when we last ended the last verse sections. These are going to be basically power chords. We're going to be playing around only on the 5th and the 4th string. So I'm right here, I'm index finger on the 4th string at the 2nd fret. And we're going to go power chords sliding over to the 6th and the 5th string. So the notes, what's happening here is you're doing a climb on the 5th string. But as you climb, you're going to start adding in what makes it, I guess, a power chord on the 6th string. So right? So up to sort of a 5th fret quasi D bar chord. Then we're going to switch up to the 5th fret, so power chord on the 5th and 4th string. Okay, let's try that one more time. That part. I forget how many times it runs around. And then the way that part closes out is you're sort of playing around on the 5th, 4th, and open 3rd string. And as long as you're sort of playing the open strings or 2 and 4 on the 5th and 4th string, whatever sort of pattern you do, as long as you hit that open at that right point, it's all going to sound great. So, for example, all the way through. Fret, slight bend, bluesy, down to the open 5th. So that's how you play that little noodle part. So that runs through however many times it runs through. And then you're back to... Now the little riff that he does on, based off of that, that you can hear is, so you're just hammering on with your pinky on 12 of the 2nd string. So don't do that every time, but sort of mix it in there and when it feels good. But that's how to get that little riff. Now on the outro, and I think this is the only remaining part of the song, on the outro, he has a couple more repeating chord shapes and really pretty descending part to really close out the very end of the song. So the way that goes is you're first ending your verse phrase like you normally do. player. So here's your chord shape on 7 and your pinky on 9. Pick up your pinky, slide everything down 2 frets. Slightly different shape now, 1 fret down, and you have your pinky on 5. So you're barred on 4, pinky on 5. So your first shape, you were 2 frets apart. Now you're 1 fret apart. Back to 2 frets apart as we're sliding down to 2 and 4. Now we're going to climb back up, same chords. Now we're going to slide up 2 frets and we're going to do this shape, the 1 fret apart shape. Slide up again, 2 frets apart. Okay, so running through that again, starting at 7. Leave that high note on 12. Okay. And then here's the final phrases to get out. And the good part of this is chord shapes that you're familiar with. Here's our triad shape again. But you're going to play it as if this was a piece of a normal A chord. But you're playing it at this position. And look what happens now with this tuning. That great dissonant. So start on your 5th string. Do it again. Now make what looks like a piece of a D minor. So you're just taking that same shape and you're sliding it over 1 string. So you're now on strings 1, 2, and 3. Okay. And you're going to put your pinky on 7 and pull off. And for me, the whole song I've been playing with the pick. When I get to this part, I tuck my pick in your hand and I go to fingers. Because there's sort of like you need to pick like the bass string and do some picking on these other strings. Okay, you're going to come down to the 2nd fret now, so we're just going to do a pull off from on the 1st string, 2nd fret. So that little part was. Then we're going to slide that same shape that we had here on the 7th to 5th fret. We're going to slide that down 2 frets. So we did the same thing. We're sliding it down 2 frets. So that whole phrase. All right. Then we're going to come up to 5th fret. 5th string and 5th fret 2nd string, and this is what's going to get us to the very last chord. Okay, we're going to do it descending. I'm picking 5th string, 3rd string, 2nd string, 1st, skipping over 4, down a fret, down 2 frets. Do that again at the 5th fret. And then your final big chord is a chord shape that you know very well. It's your basic cowboy A shape chord. And here's where you can actually drag on your sixth string now. We've ignored the sixth string the entire time. So now, take your pick, come back, rest it on your, close to the bridge, and you're just gonna drag it, not super hard, but you wanna sort of like fall on every string. But you are gonna pick every string. Ready? Here we go. So that whole last closing phrase, let's play all that together. Tuck my pick. Pick. And there you go. That's the Rain Song. All right, thanks for joining, everybody. Give us a like if you like this. If you haven't already, please do click to subscribe. I would love to come to you and see you every single week with another new song. And let us know in the comments what you'd like me to try and tackle next week. And until then, take care, everybody.